Well, all the time you spend trying to get back what's been took from you, more is going out the door. After a while, you just have to try to get a tourniquet on it.
Well, that right there is a line from one of my favorite movies of all time. It's not like it's not a lot of people's. I think a lot of people really like No Country for Old Men, the Coen brothers adaptation, the Cormac McCarthy novel. When did it come out? Premiered in 2007, won Best Picture that year, and a slew of other awards that it deserved. I love that movie, and I try to watch it at least a couple times a year. And I don't even know. I couldn't get into why it speaks to me so much, except, I mean, if I'm honest, most Coen Brothers movies do, and a lot of people like Coen Brothers movies, so I'm not alone here. It's not like I'm talking about some weird, offshoot thing that nobody agrees with me on. But that line in particular is one I think about all the time. And here's the thing. That is a very old, well, he's still very old, Barry Corbin. If you're a fan of Northern Exposure the way I was, you already love this dude. He played Maurice Minifield on Northern Exposure. He's been in a ton of other stuff, a couple episodes of Better Call Saul in recent years. Tulsa King, I think he was in recently, Yellowstone. But he's in all kinds of stuff that's like, Oscar level business. Killers of the Flower Moon most recently. Just movies that go way back. I remember loving him in particular in War Games. He was the general that was kind of take it to DEFCON 4 guy. That guy. He's still around, still living, still kicking. And I really like him. Like a lot. And it's one of my favorite bits in the movie, and he's barely in it. Like, it's this one scene. He's a retired old friend of Tommy Lee Jones's father, who was also a police ranger out there in Texas at this time. This all seems to be I think that movie's set in the 70s sometime. If it isn't, it sure looks like it. And he's there. Tommy Lee Jones is visiting him. He's kind of like an uncle figure to him. Friend, but more than that, more like family. This guy had been forcibly retired because he had to retire because he got shot by one of his by a suspect who ended up going to prison for that shooting, and it left him unable to walk, and he's in a wheelchair and all that. And he's also pretty destitute. He lives out in this old shack. He's got way too many cats. The place is super dirty. It's clear that guy's he's not having the best time of his life out there. Anyway, I don't need to tell you the whole movie, but Tommy Lee Jones goes out there to kind of talk to him and just kind of, I don't know, get some wisdom and just reach back into time a little bit, and when things were a simpler time and weren't so crazy, all the sort of thing. And that scene stuck with me, always has, I think because of that line. And I'm going to play it again so we can dissect it just for a second.
Well, all the time you spend trying to get back what's been took from you, more is going out the door. After a while, you just have to try to get a tourniquet on it.
Yeah, the idea is that why didn't he want more revenge or justice out of what was done to him? And the wisdom there is that sometimes you spend so much time trying to get back what was taken from you that it's just more and more of it's happening, whether and you can't control it. So, as he says in the end, get a tourniquet on it and let it be what it's going to be. And I think I'm not saying that's great life advice, because in the right circumstances, this is somebody who could have, taken that bullet and then done something about it that represented a higher level of justice, either some sort of financial recompense or something with the department. We're talking about a time and a place where those things are a little bit fishy. People weren't guaranteed anything. And so given his circumstances, it's perfect advice. Put him in another time and place, maybe not, but I love it. Because I think it's not as much about not trying to force justice and lose more while you're doing it. It's more like kind of like a forgiveness thing. Find a way to let a thing go. Even something as massive as I have been rendered to a wheelchair for the rest of my existence because of what happened. And you either fight like hell for that, or at some point you cut your losses, quote unquote, put a tourniquet on the bleeding and hope it stops. And just be who you are, and have what is, be whatever it is. And I don't know why I find that so profound, but I do, and it comforts me. It's a weird, comforting thing. That whole movie is weird this way. I find the movie comforting. The themes in it are dark. The implications in some cases are real dark, and the movie's not a happy-go-lucky movie. This is not Raising Arizona. This is not The Big Lebowski. It's full of quirky Coen Brothers style characters and characterizations and delivery and all this sort of stuff, but it is not funny. Not in a normal kind of funny way. Not even a normal Coen Brothers funny way. If you've not seen any of these kinds of movies from them, they basically have three categories of movies. They have light and quirky stuff. They have semi-serious, but mostly quirky stuff. And then they have this like deeply serious stuff. And No Country for Old Men, Fargo, despite all of its interesting stereotypes and moments of like kind of funny, but it's a different kind of funny. Fargo fits into this category. So does Blood Simple, and so does Miller's Crossing. Those are the four movies, I think, if I had to pick them anyway, would be the ones I would say are the Coen Brothers, like the hard hitters. And for whatever reason, each of those, I find them to be infinitely rewatchable. And when times are tough or I'm feeling down or whatever, they're cathartic. So the question is, are they cathartic? Is there a way to prove that out, that they are actually cathartic? Or is there something wrong with me? You know, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm weird. I find catharsis in movies, stories, books about apocalypse style scenarios. I don't just love Mad Max Fury Road and the Mad Max franchise. I freaking love it. Right? I love Dune. I love, oh shit, everything's bad. There's a desert. I mean, there's often deserts. No Country for Old Men, desert. Some of my favorite Westerns, especially the bummer ones, desert, lots of desert. There's maybe something I've tied to that. And I love the desert. I love to go there. I love to be there. I'd live there if I could. I live in a desert state, although the part of the state I live in is, you know, pretty temperate. But it wouldn't take much for me to move 3 hours south and be right where I want to be. Maybe I will one day, but I love big, open, expansive, red rock, dry climate, oppressive heat in the day, cold at night. I don't know what it is. Scott, what's your favorite Star Wars planet? Tatooine, baby. Without even blinking an eye. Who's going to Hoth? Who are those weirdos? Skiers, snowboarders? It's freaking snow people. My idea of the perfect getaway is a weekend in Moab or, parts are around parts of St. George, which is south, Arizona, Sedona, Canyonlands, Grand Canyon, Zions, all these places that are just not just national parks, but just like the whole vibe. Like there's a, the stretch between here and Las Vegas is full of like big, empty, nothing desert. Most people go, oh, I don't want to drive through that. I go, no, let's go. I love it. Those like sharp, black, almost glass-like mountains in the rear or in the background there on that way between the Arizona side of it and before you enter Nevada. It's really, really some of my favorite stuff in the world. So I don't know. I'm not saying this is all connected to this. I'm not saying that No Country for Old Men is some kind of litmus test for whether you're, I don't know, prone to negativity as a way to gain positivity. It's weird thing to say, isn't it? Because I know the normal answer would be this. Hey, Scott, when things are rough, what do you know what you should do? You should watch Disney movies. You should watch Marvel movies. You should watch, this or that. Or here's a book. It's very uplifting. And I'm the opposite. I don't want any of that. It's okay if there's uplifting things, there are heroic moments, like that stuff. I love that. That's not a problem. It's not like I abhor those sorts of things. I just blanketing myself in these negative worlds. Like I love The Road. Speaking of Cormac McCarthy, The Road is one of my favorite books I ever read. I really like the movie. I think it's a great adaptation. I think Hillcoat did a great job. And yeah, I could watch that stuff. I should watch that nonstop. Well, why? You know what? I think I figured it out. There's a simplicity to it all. There's a simplicity to Anton Chigurh's giving his word that he will, like, if he's going to kill a person, he'll do it no matter what. Nothing will stop him. The only time he ever makes an exception is he flips a coin for somebody. I don't want to wreck that movie for anyone who hasn't seen it. And does kind of a Harvey Dent thing, but there's a simplicity in that. There's a expectation and an ambiguity. And what I'm trying to say, it's not ambiguous. What am I, Porky Pig over here? Same, like Fury Road, same thing. It's simple, right? We got 2 or 3 resources that are extremely rare. We got to go here to save these people, and we got to go back to finish the job. Done. And I don't mean simple like easy to follow. I mean the world has simple rules in it. And those rules apply no matter what. There's like just some kind of, not rigidness to it, but a reasonable expectation. And in real life, I sometimes find that it's all over the place and I can't reasonably expect anything. Things change minute to minute, moment to moment, hour to hour, day to day, year to year, month to month, whatever. And I think we all, well, again, I don't want to talk about anybody else because I think this may be just a me thing to a certain extreme. These apocalyptic scenarios have a simplicity to them. And I root for the good guys because the good guys are presented with it's really a simple choice. Be a complete and utter horrible piece of crap or be great and heroic and do the hard and right thing. And name the movie. It doesn't matter. Fury Road, Book of Eli, countless others. Right? Just, you know, it's simple. It's simple. Even in something as big and complex as the Dune books and movies, it really comes down to this planet is loaded with spice. Spice is everything because everybody's become completely reliant on spice. Use it as an allegory for oil or whatever modern thing you want to apply it to, consumerism, whatever. But that's their version of it. And anyone and everyone will do anything they can to be the one that controls the spice. If you control spice, you control the universe. Simple. All other things align against those rules, both in rebelling against who's currently controlling the spice or doing what you have to be the one that controls it. Whatever it is, it's all around. There's this simple construct in the middle of the thing. Maybe I'm just describing, maybe this is like a writing class and I just never took it. Maybe there's like writing professors that are like, yeah, that's what writing is. There's this central theme, and the central theme is the simple skeletal structure that all the muscle attaches to, all your story muscle and character muscle. I don't know, just something I've been thinking about during the latest couple of weeks of turmoil that we're all having a little bit of. Some of you think it's great. I don't understand some of you. Most of you, though, probably feeling the stress and the heat of it all, and I hope you're all doing okay. I hope that the network has continued to provide some much needed community and shoulders to lean on. That is kind of the goal, it's part of it anyway. And I don't know, I'm just feeling grateful for all of you today. I'm feeling grateful for my co-hosts and my friends and my collaborators and my, people I do stuff with around all this. And, glad that we can have this connection. For those who catch it, this isn't one of the shows that gets like all the downloads. This is a small one, but that's the point. It's not meant to be a big draw. It's not meant to do anything other than if you catch it, maybe something jumps out and you relate to it. And if that happens, I think this is worth it. And I can vent. It's my place to vent. So here I am venting. Why does Scott love No Country for Old Men? I don't know, but I sure do. I mean, there's a lot of other reasons. The directing's insane. The acting's incredible. The cinematography is great. The lack of music is one of the most beautiful scores the movie's ever had. That sounds like a weird thing to say, but deciding not to score this film, I don't even know how to describe what it does. It's just an amazing film. It's on, where did I watch this? Paramount or possibly Peacock. One of the P's. It's currently streaming on. It's always moving around, so you'll catch it somewhere. Anyway, hope you're having a good one. Send me your feedback. Let me know how you're feeling, how you're doing. Because I'd like to hear that stuff. Let me check the old mailbox, see if we got something sitting in there. Oh, we do. Here's one. This is Tony in Florida. It says, just listen to episode 322. It was excellent. I regularly listen to all your Frog Pants shows, and the Monday show has become my favorite. It reminds me of a time spent with my daughter, who is about Carter's age. Happy New Year to you and your family, Tony in Florida. Well, thank you, Tony in Florida. It's very sweet of you to say that. I also really have been having fun with the Monday show. Carter and I we are always close, but we're having a real bonding on there. And I'm glad that you guys get to kind of, hang around and be a part of it. Here's another one. This is an anonymous listener. It says, don't know if this would be a good topic for the Diary of the Cartoonist or not, but I'd very much be interested in knowing what is the quote-unquote best way for a random listener to enjoy your content as far as metrics are concerned. I used to listen to podcast episodes exclusively, but now I'm working from home. I have episodes playing in the background on YouTube. So by the time the episode hits podcast feeds, I've already listened. It depends it depends on the show, I guess. Anyway, I've always wondered, should I still download so Scott has higher numbers for the advertisers or whatever? Or if I'm on a private RSS from a Patreon, does that even count? What's better, Patreon, YouTube memberships? I assume it's better to Patreon each show individually, so revenue sharing among hosts is easier. All the details, I would be very curious. Well, you're correct on that last thing. The best way to make sure co-hosts and I are seeing regular revenue to keep doing the work we're doing is Patreon right now. I'm expanding some of that out soon to Substack. They support a lot of this stuff as well. And there's a lot of folks on Substack who get my content. So I'm thinking we're going to start seeing those shows have the same sort of value and benefits just happening via an RSS feed and other methods over there on the Substack as well. So if you're a Substack member and you're already following me, you already know this because I've started putting episodes in. But as far as like individual show membership stuff, that's coming. I'm just trying to work it out with them how the best way to do it is. But to answer the overall question, it doesn't matter to me, partly because I'm not super hardcore about metrics anyway. I never have been. Maybe I should be. It gets in the way of the art for me and the creativity for me. I hate this part of the business. But I would, if you're watching on YouTube, great, that counts. You're there. If you're catching me on the podcast, that's great. It counts there as well, and it counts on Patreon. It counts everywhere. I guess what I'm saying is however you want it, I want to provide it. So if there's a way you wish you were getting it and you're not currently getting it, please let me know because I'm actually interested in that. As much as it would be simple for everybody to be all in one place all the time, sure, that would simplify everybody's life, right? But I don't think that's how the world works. I think I need to make, it needs to be available however people want it. So if you're on Spotify, you should be able to get it. If you're on Apple Podcasts, you should be able to get it. All the podcast stuff. If you're on YouTube, you'd rather do it that way, you should be able to get it there. Even this show I put on there. And I don't even have video component to this show. So I hope that answers your question. And if a few of you were curious about that as well, just thanks for listening no matter where you are. Honestly, I really appreciate it. Keep that feedback coming in, 801-471-0462. Or you can go to the website and you can choose to send a message there. If you go to frogpants.com/diary, there's a link to send it. Just come to my email. That's going to do it. Thank you for listening. Have a fantastic day. And don't forget.
Well, all the time you spend trying to get back what's been took from you, more is going out the door. After a while, you just have to try to get a tourniquet on it.
Frog in Pants. How's that for a visual? Find more amazing at frogpants.com.